So let's compare the newly released or announced Samsung Galaxy S25 and the Apple iPhone 16. These are going to be the top tier devices between Apple and Samsung. They'll be the ones most sold, the ones that are compared more closely. The S25 is that $800 device from Samsung, while the iPhone 16, brand new $800, but since it's been out for a couple of months, you can get it for $650 to $700 used. So these are the top devices that most people are gonna get. So size-wise, both of these are very, very similar. They are lightweight devices for the most part, but the Samsung is a little bit more lightweight, 5.7 ounces versus the even 6 ounces of the iPhone 16. Both have premium build quality, glass front, glass back, and an aluminum frame. Now the Samsung, for the SIM card, has a physical nano SIM card slot and eSIM, while the iPhone 16 only has the eSIM card slot in most cases. So that's an advantage for flexibility on the S25, because I think it's still easier to work with a physical SIM card slot, and having both is just better than eSIM only. The Samsung has IP68, but only at 1.5 meters for 30 minutes, while the iPhone is better, IP68 at 6 meters for 30 minutes. The display, the S25 has a 6.2 inch 120 hertz display. The iPhone 16 is a downgrade, 6.1 inches with a 60 hertz display. And that's the same display used for so many years. So obviously the display is just going to be a lot better on the S25 with the higher refresh rate. Similar PPI density for the pixels and the resolution. But the S25 also has that always on display. So display wise, you're getting a better one on the S25, and also thinner bezels as well, 91% screen to body ratio versus 87% on the iPhone. Software, both will get several years of updates. You got Android 15 on the S25 with Samsung UI 7 getting 7 years of upgrades. iPhone 16 has iOS 18, which will definitely get 7 or 8 years of updates as well. For the storage, both of these start off at 128 gigs, which is not very impressive overall, because even base cheap free Android phones have 128 gigs built in, plus in a micro SD card slot, which the S25 and the iPhone 16 do not have. So nothing really special there. That is not premium at all, not worth the price for either of these devices. You do have 12 gigs of RAM on the S25 and 8 gigs on the iPhone 16. And they're both good amounts of RAM for the respective operating system. And that's mostly due with both phones trying to push AI. So it seems that 12 gigs seems to be the soft good spot for AI bare minimum, and iPhone 16 is working with 8 gigs. But for everyday usage, you're not going to notice a difference. Both of these have enough RAM to do daily phone functions. And let's move on to the camera. The S25 has 3 cameras on the back versus the iPhone 16 only having 2. You have the S25 50 megapixel main, 10 megapixel telephoto, 12 megapixel ultra wide. iPhone 16 48 megapixel main, 12 megapixel ultra wide. So you have that extra telephoto zoom on the S25. 8K on the Samsung, 4K on the iPhone 16, 12 megapixel selfie shooter on both with 4K recording capability. The processors, the S25 has a top-of-the-line Snapdragon 8 Elite, iPhone 16, Apple A18. Same story like every flagship. These are the most powerful chipsets available for their respective ecosystems. And you're not going to find any slowdowns in any of these devices now or a couple of years from now. They're very, very, very speedy for video editing, for photo editing, for music production, whatever you want to do. These are the best of the best. Neither of these phones have a headphone jack. Bluetooth is a little bit better on the Samsung, 5.4 versus 5.3. And both of these have USB Type-C for charging. So that is the standard now on both iPhone and Android. Unlocking your device on these devices are top notch but different. S25 has a under the display fingerprint reader with ultrasonic, so very nice, very fluid, very fast to open up your device. iPhone 16 uses Face ID, which also is a very different but fast way to open up your device. The Samsung also has Samsung Dex for desktop experience. iPhone 16 has ultra wideband and emergency SOS and Find My via satellite. So each of these devices have a little bit of extra things going on for itself. Now, when it comes to battery, the S25 to me disappoints at having a 4,000 milliamp battery, while the iPhone 16 is standard at 3,500 milliamps. Now, the S25 should really have 5,000 milliamp battery at this point because cheap Android phones have the standard 5,000 milliamp will get you battery life all day. The iPhone 16, it'll definitely get you through most of the day. It just utilizes the battery better, iOS. So both of these devices will get you through most of the day, but I would like to see even more battery life out of these devices, especially the Samsung. I think it's a big disappointment that the S25 still doesn't have anything close to the 5,000 milliamp battery like on most Android devices. Both of these have similar charging speeds. You have a 25 watt wired charging in the S25, which gives you 50% charge in 30 minutes. Same thing with the iPhone 16, gives you 50% charge in 30 minutes. You have wireless charging on both of these, and you also have reverse charging, wireless on the Samsung, wired on the iPhone 16. So this is the classic battle between the flagship Galaxy line and the base standard iPhone. You're going to get top-notch specs on both of these devices. The S25 has that better screen. It has the nano SIM card slot plus eSIM, which is nice. It has a top-tier camera system. It has the in-screen fingerprint reader, which some people still prefer over Face ID. But the iPhone 16 still has that ecosystem tie-in with iMessage and FaceTime and AirDrop and things like that. So it really comes down to a matter of preference on because all the apps are going to be available on the Google Play Store and on the Apple App Store. But you are getting a little bit better resale value on the iPhone 16. In 1 year, the S25 will be probably half the price at $400, while the iPhone 16 will still hold its value way more than the Samsung. But although both of these have great cameras to take pictures and videos, the advantage of the iPhone 16 with iOS is that you have a basic, free, really good iMovie or video editor. It's hard to find something like that on the Samsung Galaxy. Having those great cameras, you have to pay to get a good app that will remove ads, and it's built into the iPhone 16 for free. So that's something to consider right there. But again, hardware-wise and bang for your buck, if you don't care about the ecosystem, it will be better on the S25. But the classic ecosystem will still beat out any other phone on the iPhone 16. So that's been my comparison of the S25 versus the iPhone 16.